picture shit. This ain't a dream, we really lit this shit. Don't intervene, yo, we with this shit. That's where the most high, we the most lit.
Hey, what is up, everybody?
Hey, everybody, good evening, good afternoon, and not good. Good morning to some. Depends where you're at.
Guten Morgen for our folks in Germany.
There you go.
And Japan too. Japan too.
Yeah, konnichiwa, bitches.
Hey, we got another episode of Silver Screen Breakdowns, and we are breaking down Stoner Classic, Pineapple Express. I love this movie. It's awesome. Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow, Evan Goldberg, those are the writers of the movie, all producers on the movie as well. And it's Seth Rogen and James Franco pretty much throughout this entire movie. And it's epic. I saw this in the movie theater way back in the day. Nelson, was it your first time watching this one?
My very first time. I never even heard of this one, actually.
There you go.
I know Seth Rogen. He's got a lot of great one-liners. He's fun to watch.
Oh,
Seth
yeah.
And that laugh is signature.
Franco, I got to tell you, Franco remind me of what character? Who did that character remind you guys of? I was wondering if it's the same one that remind me of.
Brad
and
Pitt.
we just saw it recently.
Brad Pitt, True Romance.
Exactly. I was thinking that's him.
Now you want to know
the long version.
Wow,
of
I never thought of that. That is kind of.
It's
wow.
totally him, man.
Now let me blow your mind even farther, because I watched the making of Pineapple Express, and Judd Apatow, who's one of the main guy, on this as far as writing goes, he wrote this entire movie based on that character. That's how this was all.
So I'm right. I knew it. Nelson Times for the win. The W. I got it. I didn't see him walking. I go, that's Brad Pitt's character. Totally.
Yep. He said that's when it
the
all started.
Elongated version.
He was like, this would be an awesome movie just to see a movie with that stoner character, just throughout the entire movie. So that was the birth of Pineapple Express.
Oh, shit.
Years and years before. And pretty much he said the style of movie that he was trying to do, because this was a long time in the making, but when Bad Boys came out, he was like, man, we need to make this movie like Bad Boys, but on weed. Classic. It totally is.
They did a good job. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was good. That was really good. So I'm on it, man. I got a keen angle of seeing things, man. I knew there's something. And they also did a lot of what's the word? Not ode, but ode to other films and other ideas.
Yeah. Even all the way down to the marijuana, the whole conspiracy of the government, and they tap into all that a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah, that, and he says fuck the police. That's NWA. Yeah, you're in the jungle now, baby. That's Guns N' Roses. There's a lot of things that they said that are everyday clips from Americana's films and music too.
Yeah.
One of the ones that always got me was when they go see Red. And I'm just in here trying to get a motherfucking scholarship. Got Nelson and fucking Breakfast Club. That's some good ones.
Judd Nelson, he was good too.
And that's where the movie starts, where Bogey talks about it, the government conspiracy. So they're in this underground, we don't even know what it is. They just drive up and they go down into
that hatch.
Yeah, a whole bunker pretty much. And you got Evan Goldberg in there smoking. And he's just acting a fool, with everything, and they're observing.
Hey, he hits that air saxophone like a motherfucker, huh?
Hell yeah.
All of a sudden, I love it because all of a sudden he just want to hear some jazz, huh? He's like, hey.
He had some great lines on that interrogation right there in the beginning.
What was
something about? Was that?
I said, what were some of the ones that got you? It was a lot of ad libs. Scene.
Oh, you know what? I want to write it down. It said something about his balls or something. Or he said, what was it? Do you remember? I should have wrote it down. I don't remember it, but it was hilarious. I laughed so hard at it.
It might have been the part, your dick, my mouth.
Ooh. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. But he keeps going on and on with it. It was just one little quick thing. He was going on and on for about 15, 20 seconds about it.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
He's a fool. And of course, then they say, illegal.
Right.
And of course, that's the big propaganda totally was. I'm sure it was some version.
Yeah, they made a joke of it. You know what I mean? Oh shit, this marijuana fucking. Because they were thinking like, hey, how are we gonna use this? That's what the government used to do back in the days.
Yeah.
They'll get motherfuckers on LSD. They'll put you on Molly. You know what I mean? They're trying to figure it out, right? What they could use these things for.
Yeah, and they were like, eliminate him, burn down the whole place. So
yeah, they're like, screw it.
He got off for smoking the weed.
Yeah, they're like, this thing's about to be really illegal. Fuck that. You know what I mean?
And then it fast forward, and it jumps.
We meet Avenue.
We meet Seth Rogen and their Electric Avenue.
1983, I think.
Yeah. And he's listening to talk radio. He's calling in to the talk radio station.
Long time listener, first time caller.
It's fucking great, because now that's like what these podcasts are. These live podcasts. They still do have talk radio, but more in podcast and YouTube live streams now. And they just had it going right from the beginning. You have no idea what's going on with them necessarily. When I saw this movie, I knew nothing about it except Pineapple Express was the strain of weed. That was it. I knew nothing else going into the movie theaters to go see it.
It's funny too, because on a side note, when this movie came out, then the actual tree started popping up in the streets.
Oh yeah, for sure. Spark it up, fellas. They said, Electric Avenue. Take that shit to the next level. So funny. So funny.
We got to get you higher.
And did you notice any areas, Nelson? I feel like they filmed a lot of this in LA, at least, from what it looks like, anyways.
Yeah, there's some buildings I recognize, but couldn't pinpoint where. But somewhere, I'm in Hollywood, so it wasn't like Hollywood Boulevard or anything, but maybe somewhere between Hollywood and like Beverly Hills area, Mid Wilshire, LA, kind of.
Okay.
And a little more west. I know some spots.
Okay.
But nothing really specific, though. They kind of had it generic. But the way that looks, LA's built a certain way. We have trees on the sidewalk there. And those, I don't know what the type of tree is, but it's the same type of tree.
Give me sycamore for 200.
Sycamore. It might be a sycamore tree. They're all over the place on the sidewalk there. So you have the LA feel for sure. So you can tell they totally shot
Totally a sycamore.
And he opens his trunk, like when he's going through this montage of driving, he opens his trunk and he's got all these costumes and shit in there. And then you find out he's handing out subpoenas.
You find out he's a dickhead, huh?
The one that everybody hates to see. And he's
trying to curve this shit so bad that they got to call him in now. He just comes in there. Oh, dude's a doctor. He comes in. Oh, doctor, whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's me. Oh, surgeon.
About to do surgery.
Huh?
All his damn costumes, he was on it though. He was
because supposedly, you have to acknowledge the person.
Well, they have to admit who they are.
Yeah, who they are. Yeah, they have to acknowledge that they're that person, and then boom, and then they're served, and then now it's legally.
Yes, because they always
you get a bench point. You get a bench point. You don't show up now.
I got mail, and it's like, oh shit.
Like the one guy, get a real job, you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Super pissed. Yeah. And so we just get a little insight, into what he's all about. And then he goes out after his 5 or 6 subpoenas that he serves, who knows. Then he ends up going to high school.
I was watching that, I go, it's gotta be a college, please. That cannot be high school. But it was.
Yep. And he even, when he's calling into the radio, what does he say? He was like, I forget what he says. He was like, oh, well, for instance, me, I'm 25, but I'm dating an 18-year-old. And whoever was the other caller, she was like, as long as it's consensual. And he was like, I think it's consensual.
You got to think about it. I think it's consensual.
He's such a
fool. She was into him big time. You got to be my parents.
A lot of quotes coming, Serge. Hell yeah. And do you guys remember who this is, Bogey? Who is it? Who's the chick?
You may know her from such scandals as taking a dump on Johnny Depp's bed. It's our homegirl, the one and only Amber
That was
Turd.
her?
That's Amber Heard. That's young Amber Heard before she.
I had no idea, man. That right over my head, man.
That's why part of the scandal, part of her scandal was part of Johnny Depp's defense was the fact that she was cheating on him with James Franco. Like they had like footage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's James Franco. Yeah, that's where I've heard this name before.
Yeah, because they've been friends since this movie. You know what I mean?
I did not even piece that together. I slept and I watched the trial and everything. I slept. That went over my head, guys. You guys never even warned me about that. You never give me an inkling.
I haven't been glued to a trial like that since the OJ trial.
That's true. That's true because Depp was representing a lot of men, in predicaments.
And Hearst didn't even remember. He said, "What? Amber Heard?"
You know what? I even liked her character. I was like, I don't like Amber Heard at all, but I was like, hey, she's a nice girl.
Did he not remember this movie and how crazy she was in this movie?
Johnny Depp, he probably does killer Jeff Goldblum impersonations. You know what I mean?
Man, fuck Jeff Goldblum.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, that whole where they're at school, and first off, the teacher comes up. Excuse me, what are you doing here? He's like, visiting my girlfriend. He's like, oh, I heard that. I wish I didn't hear that though.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Why can't you just date
your own age? That guy was the other 25-year-old. Yeah. But what decided? I bet you he used to go to that school too. I'm going to work here one day. Just the fuck. He might as well be like an 8-year senior. You know what I mean? He's like a glorified hall monitor.
Yeah, pretty much. Who knows what class he teaches? But yeah, so funny. And then they come into contact with whoever one of her friends is. And he's like a nerd. But, Amber was like, what the hell's her name in here? Angie.
Is that her name?
Yeah. Angie is her name in the movie. And
can we just call her Amber Turd?
Yeah, we might as well. People know that. And he was just like, she was like, "Oh yeah, your impression of Jeff Goldblum." And it almost, so I laughed so hard I almost wet my pants. And he was like, "Oh, I wish." And that comment, Seth Rogen did not like that.
He didn't like any kind of combo with another man, especially a man that does killer Jeff Goldblum impersonations. He didn't want this man in any kind of conversation that involved her pussy being wet somehow or another.
No, he didn't.
Nope. Even if it was for Pete.
So funny. Yeah. And and I mean, he, of course he likes her, and, but she's into the older guys, for whatever reason.
Clearly.
Yeah. And what did he say? Oh yeah, you forgot your shorts in my car when we worked out or whatever. And here we go. And yeah, next year college. Woo! Yeah, we're gonna go to college. And he was like, I know there's gonna be a bunch of guys, trying to hit on her. So I got your back.
I'll totally watch it, bro. I'm a feminist, bro.
I'll watch your ass for you.
He's one of those guys that goes to the feminist rally hoping he can peel one, bro. He's like, yeah, women's rights. Fucking weirdo.
But now here comes the best. So, and then he says he's going to go meet her parents. Like Nelson said, she was, oh, you got to meet my parents and this and that. And she's like, I just want them to see that you're nice and funny, and sexy.
I love you.
It's like, you want them to see that I'm sexy? Oh, man. And, but of course, after smoking all the doobies and everything, and I went, to go visit his girlfriend on high school grounds. Now he's got to go get some weed. And now we get introduced to James Franco. What was your first impression of James Franco, Nelson?
Well, like I said about the Brad Pitt character, he seemed a little innocent and not naive, but kind of like takes everything literally, kind of inexperienced. I guess it's kind of naive almost.
I feel like he's like a step above a wannabe. You know what I'm saying? He's actually like one of them squares that was like, yeah, I can sell weed to all these other squares I know. Because I knew dealers like that growing up. You know what I mean? There was the dealers that were like moving like hard work, and these motherfuckers got guns and shit. Then there was like the square white boys that sold like weed and mushrooms and like acid and stuff like that. And they're real cool. You know what I mean? Real buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're the kind of guys that come up and they be like, give me a hug, man, and put it in your hand. You know what I'm saying? But when you deal with other motherfuckers, it's like, hey, yo, bro, it's right there. You know what I mean? They act like you know that motherfucker, right? It's right there on the ground, right there. You know what I mean? There's some kind of hand, a non-contact pickup. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, he reminded me of this dude I do growing up named AJ, bro. You know what I mean? That's who it hella reminded me, bro. James Franco's character, because this dude was like, he was that type of dude. Like, you're gonna buy weed off of him, but he want to kick it. Hey man, save that weed, man. I got something. You know what I mean? Let's. You ever heard of a cross joint? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, bro, you're gonna leave me, bro. Like, we're kicking it, bro. Like, you know, I'm rolling. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew motherfuckers like that. Like, listen, bro, I gotta go, bro. You know, you want to be cool to the dude too, because you know, like, he takes care of you, hooks you up fat, hooks you up for cheaper. You know what I mean? But it's like, listen, bro.
One of the best scenes in the movie to me is the scene where he's telling him about the Pineapple Express and just explaining all that to him. And,
yeah, with the mother and the father meet.
Yeah, he's like,
be like,
I got that scene queued up for us.
Oh, get the scene.
Not to have it.
I want my poor memory.
And
you know what? I love the way he played that character. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Because when he goes, smoke it and smell it. The second time he said he moved his hand that way, that's not written in the scripts.
No.
Stuff like that. That's the actor bringing that stuff to the character. I can tell the difference.
Hell yeah.
It's not that hard when we read a lot of scripts or you're given a lot of scripts.
I think James Franco's a respectable actor. I think he's a respectable actor.
I've only seen him in that. So
his career kind of got hit. Good. He took a hit in his career because of the Amber Heard shit, and then also he had his own like kind of sexual allegations, like kind of Me Too shit that he had to clear up. You know, back in 2016, a lot of those motherfuckers started getting hit when that shit hit Hollywood real tough.
And her said it's like God's vagina.
God's vagina.
And it only cost all that, God's vagina even. It only cost 10 bones more.
That's what's funny. Like the whole thing, his normal price, $100, a quarter. And you see him pull out the two bills. And then it's $110 for this one. So that whole pitch was really a sales pitch for an extra $10, like when it comes down to.
But see, he's probably hooking up only him though. He's giving everybody else that snickle fritz and.
Well, see, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a difference between the guys that he feels are his friends and the guys who are just customers.
Yeah, they're just not.
I think he broke that down, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, kind of. So Seth Rogen in the beginning when he's calling up the what's it called, the hotline or whatever, the talk radio. He was like, have you ever had to deal with a drug dealer? It's awkward. They think they're your friend, but they're really not your friend. And to him, you could tell because
he's like, yeah.
he pulled out the cross joint and he was like talking to him
he's like, yo, bro, we ain't gonna watch that crazy stuff on the internet.
Yeah, and asked him about, you think you could pull the plug on her if you had to, like getting into some euthanasia talk? And he's like, we better not go out and talk about euthanasia. I spent all day talking about that. But then when the other dude showed up,
he was trying to strike up some like intellectual conversation. He was like, listen, man, he was like, just don't leave.
But when the other dude shows up, I don't remember what his name is. He's okay, persona. And then he got like into a different, type of character where he's a little bit more gangster, when he was dealing with him.
And see, that's the whole thing too, is man, only them type of dealers back in the day is like they going to your house. You're going to their house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the white people thing, man. Like come to the house. Otherwise, it's only people you really know. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That's what he's just buzzing motherfuckers in. You know what I mean? And then this dude has a dude with him, bro. And it's funny because he's like fucking lingerers, right? You know what I mean? But then in actuality, he's keeping Seth Rogen's character around like a lingerer. You know, he's like.
That's what's funny about the whole thing. And he was like, "Yeah, if there's one thing I don't like, it's a lingerer. Let me get out of here." He's like, "Come on, man, you're not gonna spend this costume with me."
So he's lingering in his own place to keep him there.
Yeah.
Lingering.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
And it was funny though, because when that other dude started spouting off, like, "Hey man, you got some Percocets?" He told me you got some Percocets. He was like, "What the fuck?" He was like real disgusted. Like, what? No, man, we don't do that stuff here, man. You know what I mean? Like, bro,
he told him I was gonna sell him Percocet. He was like, "You came to the wrong place, my friend."
You know what's hella funny about
he was
that?
all pissed off.
Right?
He was insulted.
He was offended.
He was insulted.
He was super offended, man.
Yeah, see that a character like Saul. The reason why everybody loves a character like that is because he means what he says and he cares about what he says.
For sure.
Like every little thing that he says, he doesn't. There's a reason why he says it. It's not just a throwaway. Like if you said something like this to Saul, "Hey man, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. Hey, we should do lunch sometime." Yeah, when? My schedule's open about. Yeah, that'd be great. What time? You'd be like, well, let me check my schedule, I guess, because you don't expect the guy to say, "Okay, cool. Wait, yeah, what time?"
Yeah, what time, man?
Especially in LA.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
LA is the place
brutal.
like, oh, let's catch up, or let's do this or that or whatever. It's like you just say the polite thing, right? Like a lot of the times.
Exactly. That's what they call it. Gone Hollywood, right? Going to
Yeah.
Hollywood on me? Come on, man. Can't be more than
Ciao,
that.
ciao, Nelly.
Psych.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, bro, I'm not even famous. I'm Hollywood to the motherfucker, man.
But you get some tight rhymes, man. You get some tight rhymes, man. You're up on that league.
Exactly, man.
It's just exposure. You got the talent. You just got to get the exposure out there.
You know what's crazy is I used to be obsessed off of like getting heard. Then like in the last 10 years, because of how life happens and like adding 3 more kids, because it's crazy because my 10-year-old, she turns 10, my 9-year-old turns 10. And it's in the last 10 years, I've had 3 other kids, and like became making music. It's just I needed to do it or I'll go crazy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I still need to like talk. I still need to illustrate my life.
Peace out, Hers. We'll see you later, bro. Catch the rest on the replay.
Yeah. All right, so
Hurst Hill.
Right before Dale is gonna leave, well, James Franco was like, "So what do you do?" And he was like, "I'm a process server." He was like, "Servant? You serve people?" No, not a servant, a process server. I go and I deliver subpoenas. And he's, what do the people do? He's like, "Oh, I don't know. This guy's name is Ted Jones." And he was like, "Whoa, my guy gets weed from a Ted Jones."
Yep. See, and that's what's crazy too, is like I hate dealers like that. Because they're just talking now, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to be cool though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even dissing that other knock that came through, the other clientele that came through, like acting like a certain way towards him in front of Seth Rogen's character. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? You pull a little bravado out, like, right? Running shit out here. You know what I mean? Then he's like, oh, my guy gets from a Ted Jones.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't say that though, there's no movie, because that's that universe shit right here. This is a very important piece of information right here, that he just so happens, it's no coincidence, to say that name because he's asking what his job is. You know what I mean?
Well, Saul seems super inquisitive with Dale specifically. I mean, we only see him talking to Dale, but I bet he's like that with everyone who's like his friend, like Dale, because he's probably got a handful of guys who like he treats like Dale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's very inquisitive with those people as well.
Anytime I was ever extra inquisitive of somebody is because I was getting it, and I was like, hey, this motherfucker might work for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to ask the questions. You know what I mean? Start seeing how they do things.
Well, especially the guys like Dale. They spend $100. Maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Those are the guys that you like, for sure.
Yeah, like when Ellis, one of the main dudes from Ellis Greens, he's the one that came through, the Cuzzo, right? He was like, he's like, oh man, he's like, I appreciate it. I know y'all don't really do deliveries like that. He's like, man, nah, he's like, we got you, because I'm spending. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm spending, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, okay. So now they smoking that crossroad. You ever smoke one of them joints?
Nah,
I had one time. It's just some bullshit.
Yeah, I know how he said it's the apex of the vortex and all of this combining. And
hey, yeah, so many stuff. Yeah, so many stoner philosophical / fucking, what is it called? Aeronautics, or what do they call that shit? Yeah. This is what he said. The wind comes in the Hawaiian Polynesian wind. You know what I'm saying? Hey, stoners be funny like that though, huh? They'll learn one piece of information and then say it like they know hella shit.
Hell yeah.
I do it all the time.
Makes it sound smart.
You feel me?
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
That's the way to do it. And all Dale does is just go serve people these subpoenas and smoke weed. And so now he's on his way to Ted Jones's house, calling Angie, smoking weed in front of Ted Jones's house, like this big ass mansion. And then a cop rolls up right behind him, and it's Rosie Perez. You remember Perez in some other movies, right, Nelson?
Lots of movies in the 80s. She was big in the 80s, yes.
Yep. And then like, you know, the one for me, because I used to think she was hot when I was a little kid. It was in White Man Can't Jump, you know what I mean? And she flashes a little boob in there, you know what I mean? A little nipple out.
A little side boob action.
I got you going, huh, Boogie?
What's that? Oh yeah, look, you know what I'm saying? Huh? I got a thing for highness too, especially the ones with
what did I tell you guys before? My first like nipple out I saw like on the screen was Romeo and Juliet. They showed it. That was in high school.
Okay.
It was really quick, a little flash. They wake up in the morning. She puts on. She just goes like that with like a 90 or whatever it was.
They were having, and you know what's crazy too, because they were like,
whoa, you know.
Them motherfuckers was supposed to be like 13 or 14-year-olds type of shit, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly, right? They were 15 or 16.
In the Shakespearean days, that was like you're grown and shit.
Well, I think 13 you're grown at 13, right?
That's what I'm saying. Back in the day.
And Derek, do the right thing and White Man Can't Jump. Yeah, do the right thing. I think that was the first one.
Yeah, it was the Spike Lee joint.
Yeah.
Well, was Rosie in Do the Right Thing?
Yeah.
She was Mookie's girlfriend or baby mama. I don't even know.
Oh, okay. Forgot about that. I thought Rosie was in that. Rosie did a lot of movies.
It's something about the Latinas from Bronx, like with that accent, bro. I fuck with it.
You like that?
Yeah, her, J-Lo, even what's her name? She's a butterface, but she's hot because of the Cardi B. You know what I mean? It's just them Latinas from the Bronx.
And she was off the map for a while. Well, maybe not a while before she did that, but yeah, she really wanted to do this movie. She liked the character, and it's her and Gary Cole.
And she's a crooked cop, but she's also she's the lover / like right hand man muscle. And like she kind of runs the goons, even.
Kind of, yeah.
And so I would say she's above them in the pecking order.
Yeah. She rolls up right behind Dale. Doesn't notice that he's in the car though, while he's like smoking weed. He's, oh shit! And then
but in hindsight, because there's a pending war, you know what I mean. So she's like, yeah, she hopped right out of the car, goes straight to the motherfucking Ted's crib. You know what I mean?
Yeah, takes the gun out on the way in.
It's you're like, oh, something's not right. You know what I mean?
And Dale's just still smoking. He doesn't care.
Right?
He even says, "Hey, what an adorable little cop."
Because listen, they about to set it off, bro.
This is where it all starts.
Wow.
And it's a perfect case of the wrong place, the wrong time. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he would have smoked that joint like 10 minutes faster or something, or maybe he just might have got that in there and got out of there. But the way the timing all figured out for him, right? He walks up. Go ahead.
Well, he didn't go. Well, he was gonna go serve Ted. So if that didn't happen,
yeah. But that's what I'm saying though, because he walks up right at the same time they dome calling that motherfucker. Yeah. Well, they didn't dome call him, but they did shoot when they shot him in his back.
Yeah. Well, looked like something. It looked like
they shot him multiple times. It wasn't a one hitter.
Yeah.
And then he saw that thing.
And then he takes off. He runs into the car in front of him, the police car behind him, and has to do a little Austin Powers, thing where he goes back and
forth. All that ruckus caused some attention. You know what I'm saying? So it outruns Ted. You feel me? By this time, he done skedaddled, skirted it off. But that motherfucking roach is just burning right there on the ground.
Threw the joint out as he was taking off. Ted picks it up and, Pineapple Express.
And he already knew it because he's the only one that got it in the city. Yeah. And whoever else got it, they got it from him. So he's about to go down this rat. It's a paper trail now.
Yep. And Kidda said it.
All in trouble.
He said, do we all agree that Pineapple Express is actually pretty trash, or am I alone? And seeing, it's always just the way that it was grown, and it's people throwing fake names. Because like when you see their setup, at the end of the huge ass grow bunker, they're growing some real deal Holyfield tree.
Yeah, you saw some strains that are known as classics now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's a good place to end Act 1. We built up the story a little bit here.
And I don't agree, okay? I don't agree. This movie's awesome. Kidda.
You don't agree?
No. He's talking about the weed, not the movie.
Oh, yeah. You got to put yourself in the time period. This is the timepiece, right? Like when he was saying Northern Lights and all that shit, he's talking about some earlier 2000 strains. And this was what, 2008, 9-ish when this movie came out?
2008, yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the motherfucking. Because even in the end, weren't they showing like Granddaddy and shit like that?
Yeah.
OG, they're showing like OG Kush and shit.
Yeah.
So those were the state of the art fucking strains at the time when they were showing it at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And for everyone who's watching live, don't leave because we're going to be doing all 3 acts right now, but we're about to say peace out, to everybody. So make sure you guys go follow the podcast, Silver Screen Breakdowns on Apple, Spotify. Make sure you go follow the YouTube channel, Silver Screen Breakdowns. And Nelson, remind them where to find you.
YouTube, you can find me there. IG, Instagram. Just search my name, Nelson Tynes. You'll find me. And I'm in the process of reactivating my Facebook. I logged on the other day. Not much going on over there, but I am on Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook guy yet, but it'll grow. We'll see what goes on, Alex.
There we go.
Everybody.
All right. Well, we will see you guys for Act 2. The podcast drop on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the bonus content on Saturday. We'll see you for Act 2. Peace out.
Peace.
Silver screen, motion picture shit. This ain't a dream, we really live this shit. Don't intervene, yo, we with this shit. That's where the most high, we the most lit.